Okay, I welcome you all to today's live show. It is Friday, 14th of November 2022. So in today's live, we are going to discuss, latest 189 round. We're also going to discuss some other matters, where migration is going, what else is happening. Um, Australian migration rules and regulations, they change so frequently. Not the main rules, but how the department applies those rules. One of that update is about processing of student visas. So lately, the minister released a new ministerial direction for processing of new student visas. Good news is that the processing of student visa is going to be quicker than it was before. So that's a welcome change. But obviously, um, when the department receives a large number of applications, it takes time for them to process all those applications. Given that from certain regions and certain countries, there's a certain regions are kind of graded as high risk areas by Department of Home Affairs, and obviously applications. If a lot of applications come from those regions, you do get those processing times blown out. Sometimes 3 4 months, or sometimes 5 months, and even 6 months. But they're getting better at it. So if you guys are able to hear me clearly on each platform, please give me a thumbs up, and let's get started. So I have a question from Mia. um, can we apply TR 485 on 485 on PT score 54? So Mia, if you are available on YouTube or on Facebook, just give me a thumbs up, because I can share 485 visa English requirements on screen. Because lately they have changed, so I'm going to share screen. If you are on YouTube, I'll be happy to share this on your screen and show you what are the English requirements for 485 visa. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to share screen in a minute. Please stay with me. Okay, here we go. So if you are on YouTube or on Facebook, you will be able to see my screen as well. Share screen. I can't share screen on TikTok, unfortunately. So I would recommend you guys to come to YouTube or on Facebook. All right, so let's read the requirements for 485 visa after 7th of August 2025. So if someone has done exam after 7th of August 2025, okay. Okay, let me interpret it before. Just give me 1 sec. All right. So if you have done exam after 7th of August 2025, and if we talk about PTE academic, your overall score must be 55. So you can't do 485 visa if it is 54. Your overall score must be 55. Your listening score can be 40 or higher. Your reading score can be 42 or higher. Your writing can be 41 or higher. Your speaking can be 39 or higher. But your overall must be more than 55 or more than 55. That's a requirement for English for 485 visa. You can't lodge at 54. Perhaps Sandhu is saying, any chance for 190 in Canberra matrix on 105 points of ECT? So ECTs are highly competitive. Okay, I haven't done a lot of Canberra matrix, so I can't really comment much because I don't have experience from my own clients. Whatever I would say would just be generic only. So if someone is watching this live show, and if you have known someone, or if you know someone who may have been invited at 110 matrix point, please write it in the comment box. Okay, 7 viewers. Guys, let's double tap the screen. I want more viewers. I've got like 15 viewers on TikTok, 7 viewers on other platforms. So I recommend everyone to help me in double tapping the screen so we can have more viewers. Okay, so there are certain rules and regulations in my live shows. I really want to help you guys, but I also but in return I also need you guys to help me, and you can help me in 2 3 different ways. Number one, you can help me by double tapping the screen, because if you give us more likes, social media will invite more people. Number one. Secondly, you can help us by sharing this live stream. Thirdly, you can help us by inviting your friends to this live stream. Okay, I've got a question from Preetam. Preet 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 Ma, Preet Amankor. Prithamankor. Hi sir, yesterday did microbiologist receive any invite for 189? If yes, how many points? I think I've heard of couple of life scientists. I think 90 or 95. True Grit 40 is saying, when would 189 can get grant? I think you received your invitation in August. So visa processing times are quite high at the moment, but in certain occupation it could be quicker. For example, teachers and nurses and other priority occupations are related in health, but most other occupations can take a bit longer. So roughly 12 months for 189, and we do have like 24 months approximately for 491 and 190. These processing times, they keep fluctuating a lot. Okay guys, if you haven't hit that follow button so far, and if you're watching my live show for the first time, I would recommend everyone to hit that follow button so you don't miss any live shows in future. So there are certain rules in my live shows. You can ask your questions. Any answers that you got during the live show would be generic only. And please make sure you post your question once only. Wait for me to pick your question for answering. And if I don't pick your question for answering, please type your question again. Do not bug, the comment box. Okay. I have 117 Bharat Kumar, Analytics Institute of Australia, Melbourne के वीजा आ रहे हैं क्या? We can't really say much because I don't have that data, because we don't have a lot of people from offshore. So as long as for getting student visa approval, you need to hurdle multiple things. Your course has to be related with your background, like previous studies and stuff. For example, if you have done year 12 in maths, so you should get into a bachelor degree which involves a lot of maths. So as long as that thing is lined up and your funds and are legitimate, and if there is no gap, okay, most cases 95% or even 100% cases you'll get your visa grant. Wonderful. Kirpa Ben Sparks. Hi, sir. I thank you for your bottom of heart. I got phone invitation last day. Multiple times I asked my doubts and you answered me. Thank you. So, Kripa Ben Sparks, can you please post in the comment box again what was your occupation? And I think you got invitation for 491. That means you got invited under family stream. Am I right? Did you get invited under family stream, or you got invited from other state? Please write it in the comment box so everyone else can get help. Okay, I'll wait for your answer, Kripa Ben Sparks. Please share your occupation and number of your occupation and state and the number of points and what stream you got invited at. Okay. So many questions are coming on all platforms. For those who are new to my live shows, please hit that follow button if you haven't done so far, and continue helping me by double tapping the screen. I'm also doing joint live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. On YouTube, you can find me by searching YouTube Mohinder Mara Agent Australia or Mohinder Migration Agent Australia. And you can recognize us with the same logo, the logo that is here. And on Facebook, you can also search me on Facebook, M Singh, or you can search Endeavor Education and Migration Services. So you can bring all the questions there as well. So that's good, Kripa Ben Sparks, Nurse Family Stream, NEC, 80 points. Wonderful. I wish you all the best. And was that onshore, Kripa, or offshore? Was this onshore or offshore? Michael is asking, when do you think Victoria is going to conduct 190 round, and any chance of Painter on 70 points for 190? Can't really say much for painters at 70 points. We had some painters invited on 70 points for 189 in yesterday's round, but whether Victoria is going to consider painters, I really doubt. They haven't shown like a lot of interest in trade-related occupations, specifically Victoria. So can't really say. And when are they going to do round? I think Victoria does round almost every month, and they always publish that information beforehand on the same day when they're going to do round. They send all those emails to everyone who has an active ROI. Okay, all the best, Kripa. That's good. Look, from offshore, it's best outcome for you. Okay. Lashes by Alina. Anything for Ian Inase, newly graduated? So Lashes by Elena, Ian's, I would recommend, if you are Ian and you are in South Australia, I would recommend you to find a job, full-time job, if you are able to find in outer regional South Australia, and that is going to help you a lot. Okay, if not 190, then 491, because Ian's are way too competitive these days. There are lots of Ian's, and not a large number of invitations have been given to Ian's in last couple of years, and that is the reason a lot of people are waiting. Someone is asking, is there any chance for cabinet making 65? So if you're a cabinet maker, you can get, and if you have 65 your own points, you can get invited for 189 as well. And you should also get priority for 491 as well as 192. Abdul Pathan is saying, hi sir, I have my ROI for financial investment advisor for 491 and 190 with 89, 90 with 89 and 75 points. 85, I think you're saying 80, I think 90 and 75 points. Two more skills, taxation, external auditor. Should I change my ROI or not? Financial investment advisor, these are all more or less like very related occupations. Look, in your ROI, I don't think it's going to make a big difference, but I would say external auditors would be more closer or would stand better chances as compared to financial investment advisor, because financial investment advisor is a very specific occupation title. You may have less EOIs or ROIs, but you may also see very less number of invitations. So I would recommend, probably change it to external auditor, because external auditors would still be invited in relatively higher numbers. Victoria does not publish those data. That's a question from Michael. Victoria does not publish the data of their invitation round. Some other states do, like Victoria does, and some other states like Western Australia does. But Victoria does not publish their data. So whenever they give you invitation, you receive an email and you lodge a state nomination application. So you would only know from other people if they have received invitation. They won't publish that information on their website. Okay, so many questions are coming on TikTok. I want everyone to please hold on the questions for now. When I'm answering a question on Facebook or on other platform, you can see that I'm not looking at you. So I'm looking at a different camera there. So please hold on the questions. I'm trying to do my best. Chef, any chance for chefs in Western Australia? I would say, given the limited number of nomination places this year, again, they may invite a few people under their graduate stream for, maybe for 491. That's all I can tell about chefs in Western Australia. Muhammad Omer Rafiki Singh, chef in Green Pass, Tasmania, 190, 65-point chances. All the best to you. If your employment is very strong, they can invite you for 190 as well. But if the employment is not very strong, they can change that to 491. I know everyone wants 190, but if there are lots of people in your occupation and your profile does not specifically stand out. For example, if you are a chef and if you are in fine dine, if you're working in a fine dining restaurant and you're making say 95,000 salary, there are high chances they can consider you for 190. But if you are working in a average restaurant getting paid average salary, then they may not be interested to give you 190. They may just ask you to do 491. Marine CM is asking, what was social worker cutoff yesterday? How many points were invited yesterday that 80 points. I know of 80 points. Some other agents have reported. So social workers got invited at 80 points. Okay. Angie or Eng, sir, can I claim for 5 points for regional? I did diploma in Melbourne and BN in regional Victoria, got 8 credits. So if someone has done diploma in Melbourne and have done bachelor's of nursing in Victoria, for which they have claimed 8 points, if as long as you have studied for 2 full academic years in the regional area, you're able to claim 5 study points. And I think bachelor of nursing in most institutes have like 24 subjects. If you have been given a credit for 8 subjects, you might still have done 16 subjects in the regional area, spanning 2 years. And if that is the case, you should be confident to claim those points for regional study. Okay, guys, if you want to discuss your profile with me, there are a couple of ways you can do so. You can simply head to my website, which is mentioned here, and on Facebook, it is scrolling on the screen, and book appointment from there. My consultation charges are $165. Okay. When you book consultation with me, you're going to get half an hour to 45 minutes time to discuss your profile with me. I will follow that up with a letter of advice, formal letter of advice. And within 3 months, if you have any questions, I can answer your free follow-up emails. You're not required to book appointment again. And also, if you sign up within 3 months for any of the services that we discussed or has been advised to you on letter of advice, then you get that $165 credit towards that first step of your work, so you don't lose anything. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can start posting in the questions in the comment box. Try to post your question once only. Wait for me to pick your question for answering, and do not post the same question again and again, so we give everyone enough opportunity. Okay. Okay, so Marine, I know 80 points, but there could be someone who may have got invited at 75 points as well. You got to understand that there is a tie break point. So if, say, for example, they had so for example, they were to give like 100 invites for social workers, and they had 99 people on 80 points, and they had 25 people on 70 points. And if they were supposed to give 100 invites, they are going to give those 99 invites to everyone with 80 points, and they're going to give one person with 75 points invite for 189 in that case, and that one person would be the person who have achieved, or who had achieved those points, 75 points at the earliest date, means the oldest EOI. It's not the date of EOI, but the date when that person achieved 75 points, when that EOI was updated with the 75 points. And they're going to choose that person who did at the earliest within the last 2 years. So that's how it works. So if most people received invitation at 80 and maybe one or two received at 75 points, it is quite possible too, because of that the tie break point effect. Croissant is asking, dietitian with 3 years degree from India and 7 years work experience, any PR chances in Western Australia? So if you are a dietitian, you must have skills assessment if you want to apply for Australian visa. But if you already have skills assessment, then you can do EOI and ROI, then you will be eligible for invitation. But if you don't have skills assessment, you need to first work on your skills assessment. If you want to discuss your profile with me, guys, there are two ways you can do so. You can send me a message on WhatsApp. In a reply back, you're going to receive a message that will have our website address on it. Okay. How do you contact us on WhatsApp? On this number, +61 452 169 200. So you can contact me on WhatsApp. You'll get a reply back message, which will have link to our website. That you have to select the time, payment, and all those things. You can do it through website, and you'll be able to book time to talk to me directly. If there is anyone who is watching my live show, and if you have been my client, or if you have ever spoken to me in the consultation, if you're watching my live show now, please share your feedback, good or bad, but please do it. Because on day-to-day basis, we see lots of people who are kind of lost because they were never told what their options were, even if they have spoken to many agents in the past. So we want to make sure at Endeavour Education and Migration Services that we provide you the advice that you need in that critical time when you are making those important decisions for your permanent residency. Okay, so please share your feedback if you have ever spoken to me. User ending with 479061, please do not post the same question again and again. Okay. Hello, sir. My Indian PCC will be expiring next month, but I haven't been to India after my last PCC. So if you haven't been to India after last PCC, you're not necessarily required to do it. Okay. You're not necessarily required to do it if you haven't been to India. Unbothered, can 491 secondary applicant apply for 191 with another partner who is on ART? Very good question. That's a very complex question. I need to know so many different things. So I would recommend you to book appointment and we can discuss that in detail. Sukhvinder Singh, hi. Is there any way to get direct PR like 186 based on RSMS if on 3 years of experience as taxi driver in Queensland? I'm not aware of a taxi driver getting 186 PR directly. Most of the people you'll get, if you're going under a DAMA labor agreement, except Northern Territory, there's a provision for 186 directly. But apart from that, all DAMA labor agreements require you to work on 482 for at least for 2 years and then go for 186 under TRT stream. Thank you, Vinod, for sharing this live with 5 of your friends. I'm looking for at least 10 more people who share this live stream with 5 of their friends too. So is social work still okay to study PR pathway for when it seemed competitive this round? Marine CM, yes, social worker is still competitive because still good because not everyone gets a skills assessment as a social worker because you are required to hurdle IELTS academic and prove 7 each in IELTS academic, which is difficult for many people, and that's why social worker does occupation, even though at this stage it is a little bit competitive, but in the past people with 70 or even 75 points have been invited. And remember, we are only talking of 189 here. We are not talking of 491 and 190. In 491 and 190, if you find employment, you can also get invitation from the state as well. Okay, 491 and 190. With the right strategy, there are multiple different options that you can avail. Hello, sir. 80 plus 5 from ECT, chances for 190 from New South Wales. Look, ECT is very, very competitive. I think New South Wales alone had like 2,000, 2,500 people. Let me check how many people are waiting in New South Wales. If you guys are not watching our live show on YouTube, then you are missing the screen sharing. So if you want me to show you the screen and if you want to get those questions answered on the screen with the evidence, then you can also come to my YouTube live too. So on YouTube, you can search me as Mohinder Migration Agent Australia. All right, so let's have a look at ECT and how many ECTs are looking for invitation in New South Wales. So I'm looking at early childhood pre-primary teacher. So guys, this ANSCO search, this resource, we pay for this resource. This resource takes all the data directly from Department of Home Affairs website, which is Skill Select EOI data. So it extracts all the data from here, and it is relatively easier for us to navigate. So that's why we use this resource and we pay for this resource. This is not a free resource. So we trust this resource. This information is most of the times correct. New South Wales has more than 3,000 early childhood teachers. Now, this table who have selected 190 as early childhood teachers in New South Wales. Now, the table above here that is highlighted does not really give you breakdown how many people on how many points specifically in New South Wales. But if I look at overall, like we have roughly 1,100 people with 90 or higher points as ECTs for 190. Okay, so 1,000 people with 90 or higher for 190. That means, and that also correlates with the number of points that people are getting invited as ECT for 189. For 189, people are getting invited at 85 points or 90 points, because at 90 points for 189, the number of EOIs above 90 become less than 50. So at 85 points, you're very competitive for 189 for ECT, but you may have to wait for 6 or 8 months, okay, because of that tie break point. So if your EOI becomes older and not many people are getting more points than you, then eventually you're going to get invited if you're able to wait. Okay. All right. So that was about early childhood teachers. I have another question from S Khan 664. Hi sir, I have Australian visa subclass 600 without 8503 condition. Now I'm coming in Australia. Please guide me if possible to convert this like study work. So first of all, S Khan, can you convert your tourist visa in Australia even if it doesn't have no further stay condition to student visa? No, you can't lodge student visa from a tourist visa if you are in Australia. That doesn't work. That legislation changed last year, so that is not possible at all. Now, can you get a work visa from tourist visa? If you are eligible, and if you find an employer in Australia who is happy to do nomination, and who is happy to sponsor you, then you can lodge employer sponsored visa while onshore. But you will not get work rights until that visa is granted. You can stay in Australia on a bridging visa A if a valid application for employer sponsored visa is lodged, but you won't have work rights and you can't start working with that employer until your visa is granted. Because generally, the bridging visa A that you get after lodging onshore application will inherit that no work condition from your previous tourist visa. Okay, so you can apply for a work visa or employer sponsored visa while you're in Australia, but you won't have work rights. So getting work visa to getting tourist visa to Australia is not a big deal. You can get the visa, but would you be able to convert it? No, you can't convert it on student visa. Would you be able to convert it to employer sponsored visa? Possibility is yes, but who is going to sponsor you? There are multiple different requirements that sponsor is required to meet, and the applicant is also required to meet. Okay, I'm going to take a couple of questions from WhatsApp. Someone is saying, "Hey, sorry to bother you. Just wanted to ask if I'm a PR in Australia and I'm pregnant. My brother applied for visa from Pakistan to help me with pregnancy, and she got refused, saying that she is a housewife and being a father. And this I think responsible with her. So it's just okay, that's good. So Samina, someone named Samina, I'm not sure that's a real name, but if you have applied for tourist visa for your mother to assist you during pregnancy in Australia, that's a legitimate and genuine reason. But if your mother does not have any financial ties to the home country, means no bank account, no deposits, no job, no assets on their name, it is going to be very, very difficult. Again, yes, it increases the chances if you apply in sponsored stream. It does increase the chances. However, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to get visa. Okay, and you have also asked, would you recommend applying everyone's visa, means husband wife both, means your mother and father both? I would recommend against it, because if a father also applies, your father would be the only member of family unit for your mother, and if he's also coming, it contradicts with that genuine temporary entrant criteria, which is the main criteria for tourist visa. So I would recommend apply alone, go with 11449 form, and show some kind of financial ties of your mother, and obviously heaps of evidence from doctor that you are direly needed in Australia when you give birth to baby. And if you need assistance, we can also help you as well. So please book appointment so we can discuss in detail. You can do so from our website directly. I hope that helps. So someone is saying, I have 7 years of experience as dietitian from Bhutan. So I would recommend you, dear, it is going to be very tricky for you to get your skills assessment on the basis of your overseas degree. You may have other options. So I'm gonna get if you're on a student visa in Australia, I'm gonna get my educational counselor to give you a call, or you can also try a number on Monday, and I'll get him to speak to you. In the meantime, I would recommend you to share your latest updated resume with us, and also share your current visa, what visa you are on, and we'll see what we can do. There could be other options available to you, maybe entering a relevant course, and then we can plan out your next 2 to 3 years. Remember, guys, we specialize in these sort of matters: general skill migration, or employer sponsored visa, family visa, parent visa, partner visa. So if you have been doing these things by yourself, or you have been taking assistance from a person who was not a registered migration agent, that means you were never taking professional help. So if you have not succeeded in getting your visas, I'm not surprised, because you have never taken professional help. So when you go to a professional um, for any kind of help, you're going to discover many new options. And that happened with one of my client whom I consulted this morning during the day, I think around 1 o'clock. So client was very hesitant to tell me the whole story. He was saying, Mohinder, I know my profile. I just need to know this question. I asked him, well, you have paid me $165. I'm going to make sure I make full assessment on your profile and then recommend you the best possible options to you. And when during the consultation, when I convinced him to tell me the whole story, because I can't help you unless you tell me the whole story. And I think this guy would still be watching my live show and probably listening to what I'm saying here. So and then he said, okay, he told me the full story, and then I gave him 3 different options. He was not aware of it. He was just waiting for something to happen and click. So you don't know unless you approach a professional. Go and do it right now. Not only me, any person who is honest, ethical, and transparent and professional, go and see a person who holds a registered migration agent certification. Take help from that person, no matter where you are located. You're more likely to get better options. And not only that, you go to a person, you take advice, take everything in writing, and also follow it religiously. Only then the results will come. Okay. Can I get 189, 190, or 491 as early childhood educator? The answer to that question is no, Marine. You can't get 189, 190, or 491 for early childhood educator. Why? Because for 189, 491, and 190, you need to have an occupation that appears in either medium and long-term strategic skill list, or short-term list, or regional occupation list. So there are 3 different lists. So if your occupation is in medium and long-term strategic skill list, you can apply for 189, 190, and 491, all 3 visas. But if your occupation only is available for in the short-term list, then you can only apply for 190 and 491. But if your occupation is only available in 491 list, okay, then you can only apply for 491 visa. Okay, you can apply for 485 visa, which is also known as temporary graduate visa, or the visa that you get after you study in Australia, if your occupation is in medium and long-term strategic skill list. These are some basics. Okay, guys, if you're not able to post your question in the comment box here, I can also read your questions from WhatsApp. So you can also send me your questions on WhatsApp. My WhatsApp number is here, +61 452 169 200. It becomes very important if you send me your questions on WhatsApp, because you're able to write so many things that you don't want to share with other people while you're posting on this YouTube or on Facebook or on this open platform like TikTok. Okay, so Navoda, sir, when would the Victorian allocation will announce, and when will Victoria rounds will start? So Victoria is already doing rounds every month because they have received some interim quota. When would the allocation be announced? Hopefully soon. Some states have already. So it means Department of Home Affairs has already given the quota, but the states are not really inquisitive. Why? They're not really sort of excited, because they have received very limited number of places, so they're not very excited. That's why they're kind of holding back. But I believe in next week or so, most of the states will publish what states they have received. Generically speaking, most states have received 20% less quota as compared to last year. So if you are in South Australia, South Australia had roughly 3,800 places. If I minus 20%, it's going to be roughly maybe 3,000, roughly 3,000. So that's how it works. Okay, so if you guys want to post your question, you can also send me your question on WhatsApp +61 452 169 200. And there are lots of people who follow me from Africa. Okay, so if you are in Africa, if you have question, I know you may not be able to book appointment with me because you're not able to afford it. This is high time for you to ask questions on WhatsApp. So you can send me your question on WhatsApp. I'll read the question to everyone and try to help you out. So someone has sent me a message. Can you try to help me? I have a bachelor's degree and I drive a truck. So if you have a bachelor degree, but if you just drive a truck and you are located in Africa, I'm sorry, but nothing can be done. If you are located in any other country than Australia and except New Zealand, because anyone with New Zealand passport can get Australian work visa directly when you come to Australia. If you are in any other country, you are looking to come to Australia for work, there are two main options that you can choose. Number one, you can apply for general skilled migration. Okay, so under general skilled migration, we have three different visas: 189, 190, and 491. Out of these, 189 visa is given by Department of Home Affairs directly. They invite people directly for 189. Then we have 190 and 491. So 190 and 491 requires the state's help. So states first invite you, then you apply to states, and when the states say yes to your profile, then you get invitation from Department of Home Affairs. What are the primary requirements? So it's a competitive process, and it is a point-based system. So you get points for your age, for your English, for your work experience, for your spouse English, for your spouse's work experience, and all those things. And the first step to start for general skilled migration visas is to get skills assessment. So skills assessment is a process in which you apply to specific authorities in Australia, which are determined by Department of Home Affairs, to determine the equivalency of your education and work experience according to Australian standards. And you get a positive skills assessment from that authority for your type of occupation. Once you have that, you can do then EOI. So you can do expression of interest. When you have done expression of interest for 189, Department of Home Affairs invite you from your expression of interest. To do your expression of interest, you need to have minimum of 65 of your own points for 189 expression of interest. On Department of Home Affairs website, there is a point checker. You can calculate your points there. It gives you basic information. First gain this basic information, and later on, when you need assistance, that's the time when you can hire a migration agent if you can afford it. Okay, who is the best person who can assist you with all those things professionally and can also charge money to you is a registered migration agent. So Marine CM, you can still apply for Australian visa, maybe student visa, if you have studied, you have done diploma level qualification, you have some educator experience, then you can apply for a student visa to study maybe Bachelors of Early Childhood if you're able to provide funds and things like that, meet all the requirements. Okay, so I've got this question from someone. Sir, carpenter or bricklayer, if I have to choose one course, now Cert 3, which one? Mustafa, I would recommend you, I want you to call my education counselor right away. Okay, he will be the one who can assist you right away. Okay, now if you have to choose between carpenter and bricklayer, I want you to come to my live show here on YouTube. I want to show you something. Remember, at Endeavour Education and Migration Services, everything we say, we back that up with our research, with facts. Okay, we don't just say something because I am saying it and you are listening it. I'm just saying it. I'm going to back everything up with research, with facts. So come to my YouTube live. Okay, so I'm going to share this slide with you guys here. There we go. So I recommend you to come to my live show. And if you are on WhatsApp, I'm also posting link to my YouTube and WhatsApp as well. There we go. All right. So here we go, guys. Okay. I wish I could post a link to my YouTube on TikTok too. Just give me one sec. Okay. May just be able to do it. Okay, so that's fine. I'll leave it for now. All right, so let me show you here. So I'm going to show first bricklayers. Why I said bricklayer is better than carpenter. Let me show you here. So I have searched bricklayer. So if you're able to see my screen, yeah, so bricklayer here. So if you check here, so as a bricklayer, how many EUIs we have? We have only 135 EUIs, and this data was updated on 31st of October, which is before yesterday's round. So out of these, I think most of them would have been invited already in yesterday's round. Okay, but let's look at, we have 135 EUIs by 31st of October 2025 for bricklayer. Okay, now side by side, I'm going to check carpenter. Okay, so if you check carpenter, we have 983 EUIs as carpenter. So there are more EUIs as a carpenter than the bricklayer. So, and there's a reason as well, and that's what I was talking to my client this afternoon when I consulted him. Why I recommend bricklayer as compared to carpenter? Because in carpenter, because you are not required to get your hands dirty a lot. I mean, you do, but not as much as a bricklayer or as a solid plaster or wall and floor tiler. So there would be more competition, and lots of Australian apprentices also work as carpenters. They also work in other areas as well, but people don't work in those occupations for a long time. That's the reason for high shortage, and that's where you have great opportunity as an international student to cash that opportunity to create a pathway for directly 189 visa, because once you have the visa you can move to any occupation. But please, at this stage, focus on something that's in high demand. If you're really looking for permanent residency, don't waste this time. This is high opportunity. Don't waste this time. Okay, so somebody saying 80 points for community worker in New South Wales, Australia, Sydney, 90 for 491. So pathway to, yes, 491 could be possible, but we can't really say much, Mr. Sanjeev. I can't really say a lot. Community workers, there's like large number of applicants as a community worker, so it is very, very competitive. You see, as a community worker, we have a large number of EUIs. We have in New South Wales we have 852. Okay, and 80 or higher, with the 80 or higher points, you can easily see roughly 900 people waiting. And that's for that this column shows overall. But in New South Wales, in total, we have 852 people waiting for invitation as a community worker. And I think easily you'll find at least maybe 1 to 200, at least, probably 80 plus points. And would they invite 1 to 200 community workers? I don't think so. Maybe 15 to 20, because they invite people across different occupations, and that list contains almost 450 different occupations, including medium and long-term list and short-term list and regional occupation list. So if they only invite like 10, 15, or 20, most people with 95 or 90, 95, or maybe some people with 85 points will get invited. So it is very, very competitive out there. So Canva, does their round every month. So they publish all that information there on their website. Okay, so Gursav Singh 153, is there 4 rounds in 2025, 2026 for 189? I really doubt. We need to look at the numbers. Okay, if you are on YouTube with me, I'm showing the screen again. If you look at the numbers for 189, I can show you here. I'm just first sharing migration planning levels. Okay, so I hope you're able to see my screen. Yes, so migration planning levels. Have a look at this. So these are the migration planning levels for 2025, 2026. Okay, so under skilled independent visa, which shows 189, which is skills independent visa is 189. We have 16,900 numbers this financial year. We had the same number last financial year as well. And remember, these are not just the invitations. These are the number of people who are going to get visa. And remember, sometimes there are more than one person in one EOI. So these many visas are going to be granted this financial year. Now, if we go at the invitation rounds, okay, the department has published this data. They have invited 6,887 applicants on 21st of August. Okay, so that means out of that, this 16, I'm going to share screen, this one as well. So they have invited 6,887 people plus 150, and that number is out of 16,900. So that number is roughly 7,000. So that means they still have like 10,000 places left, and they have conducted a round a couple of days ago, I think yesterday, right? They have conducted this round, and in this round they may have invited maybe 6 or 7,000 more people, and in total that will fill all those 16,900 places that are available here, because it's not just the invitations, it's just the number of visa applications. So sometimes one EOI has more than one applicant in it, one secondary, maybe two secondary, sometimes even 3 secondary applicants. Okay, so would there be any round again? And also again, I also want to highlight here, we also look at previous year's rounds. So in last year, we had a round on 7th of September. We had a round on 7th of September, 7th of November. And then we had a round on 5th of September. And then before that, we had a round in the previous financial year. So there was no round after that. Now, it seems that the way they're running these plans this financial year are very strategic, because first they're giving 189 rounds and let everyone get invited and let them lodge their visas. Okay, once they have lodged their visas, then probably states will do more activity, because they know that there is not going to be any 189 round after that. So states can then pick and choose people as per their requirements. So what used to happen in the previous years, sometimes people will get invited for 189, and sometimes the same person will get invited for 190 or 491 as well. And there was same, the federal government as well as state governments, they were fighting for the same candidate. So when the numbers are limited, they don't want to engage in that activity, which is not coordinated. So I think now states and the center or Department of Home Affairs is coordinating it in a way that they maximize the number of people they can give a permanent residency in Australia by these strategic planning. So I really doubt there would be any round for 189 in future for rest of the financial year. I may be wrong, and you can prove me wrong. I want to be wrong because I want all of you to get invited, but that's how it sounds like this financial year. Okay, guys, if you have any question, you can also post in the comment box. You can also post your question in WhatsApp. Okay, +61 +61 452 169 200. I know you may have questions that you may not be able to post on the open platforms, so you can send me your question privately on WhatsApp, and I'll try to do my best. Okay. I have a question on WhatsApp. Is saying I completed a degree in geospatial engineering survey, and I'm currently based in New South Wales. I've received a positive skills assessment for Geospatial Council of Australia. Bossy has confirmed that my qualification is equivalent to an Australian. Okay. Previous worked as supervisor in Kenya for 6 months. 6 months of professional experience. I'm now taking my master's degree in employer is bidding. Okay, so if you want to get employed in Australia and want to apply for employer sponsored visa, say 4A2, you require at least 12 months of work experience. Okay, at least 12 months of full-time work experience is required. Okay, so if you don't have 12 months of work experience, you can't. But that work experience can be full-time, can be part-time equivalent of full-time, or can be combination of both. So if Theo, if your employer is willing to sponsor you in future, they can help you in getting that work experience while you're on student visa. Because if you have 6 months from offshore, if you work for 12 months on student visa, because that allows you to work for 24 hours in a week, within 1 year you'll gain that required work experience, and then you can move on to that employer sponsored visa. But there could be other potential options as well, right? Probably changing your course to a different course. There could be a number of options. So if you are new to my live shows, and if you have come here for the first time, again, I'm going to get back to you. My counselor will have a chat with you sometimes today or tomorrow, and I am going to assist you and probably know a bit more about your profile and see what we can do. Okay, sometimes there are more than one options available. Okay, side hustle for you, how to do a trading show. Okay, immigration, some people lodged on 23rd of August, got grant last week, but I lodged on 24th, still no response. ECT occupation, you may have your application may not be decision ready, but sometimes it can take longer, so just wait, I would say. When is SA inviting? So SA has not opened their portal for ROIs yet, number one, and they have not announced the number of seats that they have received for this financial year. Hopefully that comes through in next 1 or 2 weeks. Binesh, can a retail manager do 491 pathway 1 New South Wales? Can retail manager do 491 pathway 1? That means if retail manager is able to do, that would mean they must that occupation must exist. In medium in regional occupation list ROL, and retail manager is not. Retail buyer is not retail manager. There's only one occupation with the retail manager, and retail manager is not in 491 list. Retail buyer is not retail manager. Hybrid saying, can Coles sponsor a visa? If so, which occupation? Absolutely, Coles can also sponsor someone for visa, but it's a very big organization. Which occupation? They can sponsor for any occupation that is eligible for employer sponsored visa, as long as there is a genuine position. RJ is asking, is there any chance for chef in South Australia? Unfortunately, I don't see, chef getting invited from South Australia, given the number of the limited number of quota, and given chef and cook, they want people to choose employer sponsor visa. Unless you are working at a very good wage and you're in outer regional, they may consider you under outer regional stream. What do I need to do if looking to sponsor my girlfriend in Victoria de facto? So what do I need to do if I'm looking to sponsor my girlfriend in Victoria de facto? So if you are Australian citizen or permanent resident, and if your spouse or if your girlfriend is in Australia, she holds one or the other kind of visa, and even if she's a unlawful non-citizen, she can apply for partner visa on your behalf. Okay, there are multiple different requirements for partner visa, so I would recommend you to head to my website and book appointment. Make sure both of you are present in the consultation. We can do it through Zoom, and we can then discuss in detail. Boss is saying 1 year experience civil technician skill assessment. Boss, 1 year of work experience. I think Pathway 1 could be an option for you in New South Wales. So Pathway 1 is not open yet. Please stay connected with us and stay tuned, so you get that information when Pathway 1 is open. Kush Sandhu, in Metro 1XX, how long can it take? It can take a very long time, my friend, up to 18 months in Metro. Do the secondary applicant need to have a valid PTE test to apply for 189 and 190? So because 190 and 189 are permanent visas, your spouse or secondary applicant would be required to prove minimum of functional English, okay, as a criteria of grant of the visa. If you don't supply functional English, then they are required to pay adult migrant English program fee, which is roughly $5,000. And generally that information comes to you just before the case officer has assessed everything else and they are about to grant the visa. They ask for that information. Either you make payment or you supply them functional English through English exam. If you are claiming points for your spouse in your general skilled migration, then yes, if they need 6 each, if you're claiming 5 points for them, or if you have claimed 5 points for them. But that is at the time of invitation. So you can't add the points or increase the points later. Okay. All right, guys. All right. So we still have few questions. There are a lot of people, few people there on YouTube and Facebook. So I'm going to stop my stream on Facebook and on YouTube. Thank you very much. And I will continue to answer questions on TikTok. So my TikTok family, you guys can also post your question in the comment box, and also you can send me these questions